everybody, what's going on? GoofyRhexxi here. Hope everybody is doing well. And wanted to talk about this video today, the top unsung heroes in Marvel Strike Force. Although, to be fair, two of these characters are villains, so I guess we top underrated characters, right? In Marvel Strike Force, we'll leave it at that. I'm going to be talking about why you should not sleep on these characters here. Always curious as well in regards to who you would consider to be the top underrated characters also. But we're going to dive right on into the list, guys. The first character that I currently have on this list here is going to be a guy that's probably going a little bit out of fervor right now, but still I think is a good underrated character here, and that's Spider-Man Miles. I think he still has a phenomenal utility kit. I typically tend to swap out Miles right now and throw him into my Young Avengers team. So take out America Chavez and use Spider-Man Miles in Cosmic Crucible a lot, where you do that at least 3 times a week, right? I've always loved this special ability here where you can reduce the speed bar by 50% on a primary target. A lot of good utility that you can get from this ability here. His ultimate ability has always been able to apply Disrupt, but of course when he got that rework, he was now able to apply that to multiple characters, or was worth D4ing this ability so you can apply this to multiple additional targets here, and he gains that extra percentage of focus as well to make sure that he lands this ability. Also being able to use him with the Young Avengers team because of Miss Marvel, you're now getting the double tab, the triple taps because he has a striker ISO, and of course Miss Marvel has that skirmisher ISO, right? I like the basic because when he's with characters like Squirrel Girl, he's able to clear these 3 positive effects. And I love that because now you can use him as a debuff character as well. So that provides a pretty good amount of value. And even this passive too can apply defense down to a random target as well. So I think Miles definitely does warrant being on this list here. Now, I know the Web Warriors are not necessarily the best team for these Doom 3 raids anymore because of the Rebirth team, right? But with newer players that are going to be coming after the events of the new Rebirth characters as run, you're not really going to be able to get those characters right. So the Web Warriors will still provide what I think is some solid value, especially considering how long it takes for these Rebirth characters to actually become farmable. So I definitely do think that the Web Warriors still may be viable up until you get to maybe like Doom 3. So probably for your up until Doom 2 raids, you'll be good there to use them. And then of course, the Web Warriors can also still be used for the higher difficulties of your Morgan Le Fay Scourge event. So the Web Warriors, yes, they're going out, but at the same time, I still think that there's some value that you can find from them here for some other players that are going to be joining the game in the future. All right, next character on this list for me is going to be Psylocke. I just always hear people rag on her a lot, man, and say that she's kind of like a useless character on the Dead Sea team. I just think that that is so wrong. I think it's because we're kind of like, we like the sexy, right? We like the sexy looking characters that do all the sexy little stuff. We like it, like the flashy things, right? We like that. But at the same time, I think we have to pay attention and look at some of these characters' kits and realize what sort of value they provide to the team. We did this with Kitty Pryde. We said Kitty Pryde was useless, and you realize, no, Kitty Pryde is actually some of the healing for the X-Men team. Kitty Pryde actually provides the evades to help the team survive. There's a lot of really good things that Kitty Pryde did for that team, although she wasn't necessarily a top tier character. And that is what Psylocke does. The team does not survive as well without her, right? Like on spawn, she's giving them evade, she's giving them counter, she's giving them deflect. Biggest thing is the evade to be able to negate some of that first initial onslaught, because a lot of these waves, especially in these Doom 3 raids for the mutant section, man, there's a lot of attacks that you're taking on. So being able to have those evades definitely does help. Also teaming that up with Magneto's ultimate ability to blind also helps quite a bit as well. And whenever they drop below 50%, she then gives them evade again, right? So that definitely becomes super impactful and super helpful. She has a cleanse on her ultimate. She has a cleanse, right? So she could transfer 2 negative effects from each ally to the primary target. Actually, no, what we should talk about here is the Dead Sea portion of this, right? Where she can transfer all negative effects from herself and all the X-Men allies, all her Dead Sea allies here, and then transfer those over to the primary target. That's a big deal, being able to clear a lot of these debuffs that are there that can get thrown onto your team a lot of the times. I think is impactful. She can also do this outside of raids, so I find that to be impactful as well. And then she reduces the speed bar of the primary target by 25%, and this attack cannot miss, which kind of sucks when you're going up against Psylocke in the Doom raids when she's on the enemy side. But for you, definitely is something that is good as well, right? And then of course, We got to talk about this too. She has a debuff, right? So her special, she can debuff the primary target. I don't think that you should T4 the special. I did, and I do find some value in that. I could talk about it, but I don't think it's one of the primary T4s that you want to throw on her. But her T4 here, she can hit the primary target and then also adjacent targets as well. And when she does that, she's applying bleeds, but then she's also clearing positive effects on each one of those targets as well. And let's say that they have immunity, right? And you want to be able to apply those bleeds. In Rage, she'll be able to clear the immunity first and boosted focus as well to be able to do this attack. So I mean, I think Psylocke definitely is just not getting the credit that she deserves for being a part of this team. It's not all about Dark Beast and Archangel and Matt and Nemesis. It's not all about those characters. Psylocke allows them to survive, to be able to do a lot of what they do best, right? All right, next on the list for me is Winter Soldier. Like, the full team's not even here yet, man. And I'm hearing so many people bashing my guy Winter Soldier, so I had to come to his defense, okay? Had to come to his defense here. I think he helps the team out a ton, right? Let's start off with the passive ability. On turn 1, he's gonna give offense up to all the Rebirth allies. So you team that up with the fact that then Agent Venom is giving the team an extra 30% damage boost with the offense up. Of course, that's going to be impactful, right, from a damage perspective with the other characters. He also, when you T4 this passive ability, he's going to be able to give them 25% additional crit chance. Now, that may not necessarily be big for the other characters per se, but a character like Agent Venom, right, whose kit benefits from having additional crit chance in there, you're going to be able to give now, if Agent Venom does, if you run Agent Venom with the Raider ISO, with this extra 25%, you're going to have him at 65%. And the benefits there is that he can do some additional damage or just some additional attacks. If he does crit with one of his abilities, he can, whenever he crits, he can also apply bleed on some of his other abilities as well. So you're going to be benefiting Agent Venom. So I think, once again, crazy good value, I think, for the entirety of the team. And of course, if the other members on the team also crit as well, then of course he's helping to kind of boost the chance that they can crit, right? And then ultimate ability here, number 1, low cooldown, 3-turn cooldown. Now I gotta check on his speed. I don't think he takes 113 speed. It's not terrible, but his ultimate here clears 3 positive effects on the primary target, does a decent amount of damage, right? And then in raids, he'll also apply that stun and get that disrupt there too. And a lot of people will be concerned about his focus. He gets an extra 5,000% focus for this attack. Even prior to that as well, if you're looking at losing this ability outside of raids, although you won't get the stun, if you're looking to be able to clear 3 positive effects with US Agent does give them an extra 30% focus outside of raids, and then in raids he gives them an extra 60% focus. So if you're worried about a focus issue here with Winter Soldier, I think that that's kind of negated by the kit, but then also the additional boosted focus that you're getting from some of the other characters as well. And then, you know, this attack does another low cooldown ability here. You're getting a primary hit, and then you're also getting additional bonus damage hits as well. Can apply some bleeds on this too. I want to mention this as well, that in terms of damage, Winter Soldier, from like raw damage percentage, is top 20 in the game. And then once again, with that boosted 30% damage from Agent Venom, and of course, if he does crit, you're getting more damage out of that as well. I don't think that Winter Soldier is a slouch on this team by any means. I think definitely he definitely has earned his keep on this team here, and definitely is a good character in my personal opinion. So I am looking forward to seeing what a lot of players are going to be able to do with him, especially considering he's farmable. You can get higher stars on him, higher red stars on him, because you have the ability to get the higher yellow stars, right? So I definitely think that there's a lot of value that you can get from Winter Soldier. So not a slouch in my opinion. All right, next character on this list is another sort of unsung hero on her team. Now, she's not going to wow you with anything, but I do think that if you're looking at top team trios, right, looking at the Unlimited X-Men team, I think she's in that trio. I think it's definitely Rogue, it's, Gambit next, and then of course it's going to be Dazzler, right? I just think that she's a good enough utility kit for her team, but I just don't think that she gets talked about enough in my personal opinion. I can't tell you how many times I've gone against a Tangled Web team in a matchup and my rogue gets stunned in that room 3 in Cosmic Crucible. I cannot tell you how many times that happens, and Dazzler is usually the reason why I'm able to kind of save face in a sense, right? Because she kind of steps in and saves the day. Due to rogue being stunned, that usually means that all my other characters on my limited X-Men team are exposed. So Dazzler can step in and then flip some of those negative effects into positive effects, right? Flipping all negative effects into positive effects in Cosmic Crucible. Even outside of Cosmic Crucible too, she can do that here. She can apply ability block, but of course, if a situation where Spider Weaver has stunned, she's getting her 5 charges in Cosmic Crucible, that ability block is not going to land. It's also not going to clear that stun too. So maybe you save this and then maybe use her special ability where she can reduce the speed bar of the primary target by 25%. She can apply blind. This ability is unavoidable and cannot be counterattacked. You're also getting some additional barrier from the team as well. So some of your really squishy characters, right, like Sunfire, Phantom X, you're kind of giving them a little bit of additional chance to be able to survive here. So I think, once again, solid enough utility kit here, which helps out the team. I just think it kind of goes a little bit overlooked, in my opinion. She also does have like a speed up mechanic. So with other characters and get any sort of negative effects, where is it right here? When an unlimited X-Men ally gains a negative effect, she'll fill her speed bar by 10%. So that means that she can get to these abilities quicker, mainly probably this one, so that you can flip those 2 negative effects into positive effects. That also does work as well. The speed bar outside of Cosmic Crucible too. I think this team is actually a little bit more useful out of Cosmic Crucible that we do give them credit. I found value for them in War. They actually weren't bad in Tower. There's actually a lot of really solid usages that you can get from this entire full team here. Not great, not Darkhold, not, Gamma and Even, but definitely still some value out of their individual game mode. So I like it. She also has like an anti-blind thing too. Like if she gets blinded, she'll gain deflect and then she'll clear blind from self and all X-Men allies if they have it. This can come in useful again, sort of like those Magneto Tangled Web comps, or if you're using Jubilee or something like that, where a bunch of characters get blinded because of the assist. If you're using Tangled Web with the X-Men team, or going up against Tangled Web with the X-Men team, you can find some value there as well. All right. Last character on this list I want to talk about is going to be Mr. Negative here. So I've talked about Mr. Negative, I think, in the previous video, so I'm not going to harp on it too much here, but I want to throw him on this list because although I do think that people are starting to recognize his value a little bit more now, especially thinking about like playing out for Dark Dimension 5 and like what other city characters are there. Mr. Negative definitely has sort of kind of risen up. I think the reason why he wasn't really talked about a lot is because he first initially got released. It was all only offers, and then it took a while for them to tell us that, okay, he's going to be in the store every single day now, right? So he kind of fell by the wayside a little bit here due to their kind of lack of marketing, really, and just kind of properly implementing the character into the game. But we found, since he's been in the game here, a lot of value. His summons are pretty good. When you start killing them, you're getting a reduction of speed bar. They also do okay damage. They apply some buffs here that can be helpful to your team. With Ultimate, you're getting a couple other things as well, right? You're getting some damage. You can flip positive effects into negative effects here. A lot of his abilities have this like cannot be blocked or dodged or something like that in there. You got this mind control with an ability block here that you can get from him too. So while like he's primarily going to do better in War and primarily do better with the Underworld team in War, there's still a good amount of value that you can get from this character. And because of the tags, the city tag, I definitely think it's worth looking into this character. Also a character that could be used because of the Spider-Verse tag to unlock Shuri, right? Because you're getting shards for him for free every single day from that web store too. So that's it for me, guys, on this list. I want to know, what are your thoughts on my list? I went sort of like in a different direction. I wanted to kind of point out some characters that were in some specific game modes here. What are your thoughts? Who would you add to this list? Who do you think are honorable mentions, guys? I definitely want to hear from you in regards to what you're thinking, but appreciate you watching the video. If you like content like this, where we do list videos, top 5, top 10s, or where we do beginner videos or other content on this channel here, then like and subscribe to the channel here. Also the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. Also check out the links that are down below in the description. A lot of links to my social media, my Facebook, well, I don't use Facebook that much anymore, but Twitter, Instagram, I just started an Instagram, also my Discord, there's Twitch, Patreon, that's down there as well, where you can support the channel for just $1 a month. And then also there's another YouTube channel that I am doing as well, which is called Keeping It Comic, where we talk about everything comics from Marvel to DC and TV shows and all that as well, guys. So subscribe to that channel for more updates there as well. But appreciate you watching the video. Until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe.